all of my little seeds. These are all the seeds for my spring garden, and I'm going to plant them. Most of them. This is my garden journal. In my garden journal, I have planned out where I'm going to be popping everything. So these are my 2 long beds, and these are the smaller beds. It's just helpful to visualize it, I find. So we're going to go pop these in. All right. We've got some paddle pop sticks and a pencil and a marker, my seeds, and my journal. So my plan for this bed was to have a bunch of different squash plants and some sunflowers and, noodle beans going up the trellis. I've got a bunch of different kinds of squash, so I was going to put some in, maybe 2 varieties in this one and 1 in the far bed. And the plants get pretty big and the walkways are decent when nothing's growing, but when the squash plants get bigger, then they're quite big and the leaves are spiky. And so my idea, I thought, learning from last time, is to put them on the outsides of the outside bed here and the outside bed over there, so that they can spill out over that way and I don't have to walk past spiky squash plants to get down the walkways. So I think the types I have, they're like the yellow squash that you think of when you go into the shops. So that kind of squash, I don't know if you call it like a button squash, whatever, but that kind of size. I've got a white and a green. I also have a yellow, but that's like, I like trying to grow things you can't just get at the supermarket. And so I think I'll grow a white and a green here, and then some zucchinis in that back bed over there. And also pick out what sunflowers I want to put in amongst that. I found the noodle bean that I want to grow up this trellis. It says red noodle snake bean climbing. Red long thin pods to 60 centimeters. So that's like 60 centimeters, isn't it? So they get like really long. So think of like a green bean that's just a lot longer. So that's the one that I'm thinking that these ones should be. So I want to grow them up the trellis here so that I can pick off them from here. So these ones I'm going to plant along the bottom here. So that's zucchini there, but zucchini I think I'll grow in that far bed over here. This one I'll grow the smaller squash. Okay, cool. Here we go. So this is one of them. This is green scallop squash. I think that's the word I was looking for, scallop. So it looks like that. That'll be one of them. And this is the other one. It's white scallop squash. And so they, this one says bush, this one doesn't. But bush means that it should not be like a vining one. It should just be a bush sort of shape. So I'm going to grow the white and the green in here. If you wanted to save seeds from that, you'd have to be careful because they can cross-pollinate, because it has male flowers and female flowers, and the bees need to come to pollinate them. But because they're grown so close, it's quite possible bees can go between both of the different plant flowers, and then you could, the seeds that you save from any of the fruit from those plants, they might not grow exactly the same next time. They might be different. You'll still get a squash plant, but it won't necessarily be the same as these 2 different ones. So I'm going to plant those ones. And then sunflowers. I don't think I'll grow, I've got some mammoth sunflowers, but I don't think I'll put them in this bed because mammoth sunflowers get like huge, 5 to 12 feet in height. I sort of want some that'll be in the bed. I've got dwarf sunflowers, so I might use that. Otherwise, the other option are zinnias, and they're really pretty, so I could also grow them. But I might do sunflowers so that then hopefully it'll grow up through, and then the squash plant can be down the bottom. Maybe I'll try some of the dwarf sunflowers that I grew. I saved the seeds from these when I grew them last season. So I've got pencil and my little paddle pop sticks so that I can write down what I'm planting. and I'm going to plant these ones first, which are the red noodle beans, the ones that climb. I don't know what the date is actually. I think it's the 30th of August today. So just write on there the kind of noodle bean or kind of bean that it is, and then the date as well. So let's pop that in here. So it says to space them about 10 centimeters apart. So I'm just gonna roughly make little divots with my pencil. One of them doesn't look super great, look at that. It's kind of all eaten out. No, I don't think that one will grow, but we'll just chuck it in anyway. So this is the red noodle beans in here. So I'll start off by just putting one in each hole, and then any that I've got left over, I'll come back. I'll probably try and put at least 2 in each hole. That one doesn't look super great. I'll give that one there. And there. I don't have enough for 2 to each hole, but I'll just do roughly. And then you just cover it over a little bit. It says to cover them over with 2 centimeters. So roughly what you want to do when you're planting seeds, you want to plant them twice as deep as they are wide. Let's cover those over. So I'm going to plant this whole bed, and then I'll water everything. I usually write a list of everything that I sow and the day that I sow it, and then I also note down when it emerges as well, just to keep a track. It's helpful because there's so many things that you want to plant and you think you remember everything, but you don't. Some green squash. Let's move him. I'll just plant here. Let's plant maybe in a bit, in just a little bit. I'll just plant 2 there. And maybe 2 kind of here. Oh no, outside. Really forgot. White squash, a white one. Let's mark it about there. I'll plant 2 seeds again. Zucchini was really good at coming out. The seeds have really good germination rate, so hopefully that will happen again. So that's the squash and the beans. We'll do some zinnias. Let's put some sunflowers in though, because I said I was going to do some sunflowers. I'll do some dwarf sunflowers. So there were these ones, but from seeds that I saved. I might put some along the inside of the bed over this area. And just like fully randomly. Maybe I should do some zinnias as well. I'll just do sunflowers for now. Let's not get too crazy. Let's check the book. So that's this bed down here. So I've done squash here. I did say I was going to do a squash on the other side of the bed, but I don't know if I will, because I don't, like I was talking about earlier, I don't want it to come out too much into the outside of the inside of this walkway. So I've just actually done sunflower seeds all along this side here, and squash plants over there. And I was going to do a sunflower in the middle, but I don't know. I might just leave it the squash plants here, give them a bit of room, and sunflowers in here, and the beans down there. And I've still got the strawberry plants in here. Ooh, so that's that bed. So I'm going to give that a water and get it all settled in. And I will also just put a label for the sunflowers. The Dwarf Sunsation. Hard to not plant more than what you have planned because there looks like there's so much space, but you just have to remember that when things grow, they are always bigger than you remember. Unfortunately, my mic didn't work for this section, and I was planting out some blue jade sweetcorn, which I was really excited about. I haven't grown this one before, and it's supposed to only grow to about 4 feet tall, and I just like growing things that are a little bit different. And so these ones were supposed to be a blue cob that forms, and I didn't want to shade out the tomatoes too much, so I thought it'd be really good to grow in this little spot here. Especially is really good to grow in blocks instead of single rows because it really helps with pollination. Show you the corn kernels and what they look like before I actually planted them. The corn kernels themselves are blue, which I thought was really neat. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to save some more of these after I grow them. So like I said, I'll probably plant about 3 to 4 in each row. Maybe a little bit more just in case some don't pollinate, some don't germinate. And once they're all in, I'll just move the soil back on top of them and just firm the soil down on top. So I'll probably water these every day just to make sure the seeds keep hydrated until they come up, and I'll probably still water them daily depending on what the weather's like. It is starting to warm up now, which is awesome. So I haven't managed to plant everything today, but that's the corn done, and I'm super excited to plant the rest.